Hello, guys, good morning. I sort of just woke up and I couldn't stop thinking about this painting because it has been something that of course, am coming back to every time. And I thought that I would have been done with it already. But in a way, it also doesn't feel like that. It feels in a way natural because also like I go back to it and I see symbols that, for example, if I were to see them on a regular day outside, it's like, oh, like for example up there, let's talk. Okay, I found them. They are Sicilian pine cones. There we go. Sicilian pine cone meaning. Walk through the Sicilian coast. They are the unofficial symbol of Sicily. Bright, geometric, instantly recognizable. They are not just decoration. The Sicilian piña carries centuries of meaning, from ancient Rome through Renaissance to contemporary ceramic tradition. This guide explains the origin symbol. So, the piña is stylized ceramic representation of the pine cone, typically hand-drawn, hand-painted, and glazed in traditional colors: bright green, yellow, blue, white. Okay. Sizes range from small. I think these colors are significant because why is it only these colors? I know that there's also red. There are different ranges of colors. Sizes ranges from small tabletop pieces to large sculptural vessels. The function in garden ornaments. Unlike mass-produced decorative objects, traditional piña are still made by individual ceramic artists in studios. Wow. So what it's symbolic of: happiness and good fortune, immortality and eternal life. In ancient Roman and Mediterranean traditions, the pine tree was associated with longevity. Pine trees live long. Their needles stay green through winter, and their cones preserve seeds across seasons. The piña inherits this meaning. It's really interesting that immortality. Yeah. But it's interesting because in this deck yesterday, I found, or there was a lot about life everlasting. There was a lot about eternal life and eternity and infinity when I was doing my other readings. Let's try and see what it can tell us, but I already have a feeling that what they mean here, and when they say eternal life, I think it's corresponded to the pineal gland, especially because I also heard that somebody say, and it makes sense to me, I might be wrong, and there might be a whole bunch of things that are involved in this, but they say that when the soul is happy, when the soul is strong and aware and, let's just say, awake, the soul can never die, and hence the body can never die. So there's this idea that, yeah, so it's your soul that determines how you're going to age. I think a lot of things come into play, okay, when it comes to external circumstances, your environment, the changes, your diet, also everything that happens and changes internally because of what changes externally. It's interesting how those things play together. It's making me think of an image that I saw, and it was an image in my mind of this person and they're on top of the world. Like, they literally just look like they're sitting on the globe, and then they're positioning themselves, and they shoot from a gun, and a bullet travels through the desert, travels through every single country that is in its path until it reaches back to the other side. Now, the thing here is really interesting because it was kind of crazy that this came through, because it just literally came in my mind, and I was like, oh, now I'm getting chills, because like, oh, now I want to cry. This means that I'm on the right track, and I know that this might be silly for some people, but I really thought like, wow, that how did that just resolve itself so quickly? And when I say resolve itself, it's a pattern, guys. I drew it somewhere. Yeah, I drew it on my phone, but I know it. Like, I was literally painting. I'm about to paint and fucking finally finish this painting, bruh. But I'm also really loving the pace that I'm going at. I'm just gonna take this paper that I know is like part of my homework. I've already yeah, I don't actually want to fold that, so I'll use another one. Right, let's see what's on this page, because it might be significant. So 76, this is about watts and pressure and speed. Okay. The faster each electron moves through the circuit and the greater the volume that the circuit can hold, the higher the wattage. Yes, that makes so much sense. And what are watts? It is the amount of power an electric device consumes. Technically, we've also got batteries, right? Technically, this is something that I was getting to yesterday, and it might not make sense in the way that we've always thought it made sense, like when it comes to watts. Like, how is it that in our bodies we have watts? There have been tests, I believe, that people have done to see our electromagnetics type interactions with things. So wattage is measured in units called watts and named after James Watt, the Scottish engineer who popularized the steam engine. This just keeps bringing me back to people. When I say people, like a lot of historically significant people who have managed to, take knowledge that they get from their minds to create. Now think about it. Like, these people who are creating the steam engines, they're curious people. They're curious beings. They've been, I'm sure that they were doing things, thinking, and then likely, like, after some time, bing, something came into their mind and were like, yes. And then they try it. Of course, there could have been several tries, and maybe they have had to not give up because maybe it didn't work in the first go, but And then they got the steam engine. Why is that significant after like what we've been talking about Sicily, the pineal gland, everlasting ness, eternity? That symbol that I made, that symbol that I made is like this. So this is the image that I got. I will redraw it here. So what I saw was the planet. It's a bit wonky. It's alright. And then I saw a boy, a girl, whoever. They're here. They're crouched here with a gun. It almost looks like a shotgun with the way that the barrel is very short, but oh, bless myself. Thank you. Bless the world. So this kid is here, and then he shoots a bullet that goes, and then it's like, oh my God, it's gonna hit the boy. And then it was like, what if it just doesn't? And then here I went like, it would normally go like that and then continue, and then it just keeps going, and it's like it just stays in a loop. It's just keeps staying in a loop. Somebody shot something. Somebody made an initial shot. He shot a bullet that was supposed to likely kill him. You know, concerning what comes around goes around. Karma. What comes around goes around. Right? Like, that's what I thought, because I thought, oh my God, he shot it. It's gonna go obviously back to him and shoot him in the back, right? But instead, the thought was like, no, what if it just doesn't? And what if it just keeps rotating around this person? I don't know why I'm laughing. You know, it's just like, it's so weird to me. And in here, you have his heart, right? And his heart is also, and his body, it's emitting electrostatic waves, electromagnetic waves. Where is that coming from, you might ask? From his heart. From heart. Okay? All of this energy as well goes through the body, through the nervous system and everything, the mind. And you know how we were just talking about the pineal gland? If you also look at one of my artworks, it is featured there. It is the pine cone. Oh my God, it is so significant, because even before properly realizing it, or maybe I did realize it in the summer, because I'm moving a bit too quickly, I'm sorry. My father and I, we travel very often to Italy. He said that he just really loves Italy, and that's why we went so often and in different places. It felt like I was trying to, or he was maybe helping me trying to remember something. I don't know if that's a weird way of putting it, but it felt like I was trying to remember something. He mentioned that when I was a kid, I was really interested in certain dead popes, because we went to visit I think it was the Saint Basilic or Saint Peter's Church in Rome. I'm not quite sure, but Saint Basilica, but also Saint Peter's or Pietro churches are also significant here. And something about San Pietro and around that region, and also the Pope called Sixtus V, is also significant because Sixtus V, okay, the Pope. Also, when you look at the Pope, when you look at what they wear, these things, these hats, when you look at the Egyptians, this is a Pope, and Egyptians, don't they also have those high type hats, okay? This type hat, or whatever they try to do, or whatever they are called, and maybe they're not even called hats, I'm just using the term lightly here because this is just a quick thing that's coming through and I haven't done the research yet. We can do it in a bit together, but there's something about connecting to higher knowledge, right? These hats, they might also be charged, or like, for me as a person, when we also look at head wraps, so people who just love to wear scarves, to also protect their minds, that's one thing. Hats in general, cloth or something that you put on your head is to protect your mental sovereignty. It's also to, in a way, funnel accurately, also create a point that energy can be found, okay, and attracted to your mind. And this is how people connect or say that divine connection comes through. It comes through your crown chakra, and it plays out in your third eye. Now, some people, or like some nudges that I've had, is to add crystals. I've had this. I will post the other readings that I did because I did them, in the peak of my freaking period. So I was a bit angry, and not gonna lie, I did feel like I was exposing something. So I felt a bit hesitant to share. And so I posted them, but then I deleted these videos. But in that one, you can see that I decide to protect my mind and my head a few minutes in the reading. And then I wrap my head up, but before I do, with a bandana, I put crystals in here. And I put crystals like selenite. And likely also like lapis lazuli, right? These crystals, especially also selenite, is known to connect to your angels, connect to this sort of higher vibration type energies. I believe so. Selenite, and then you have lapis lazuli, very frequently used in ancient Egyptian times. The gold and the blue. For example, this is reminding me of the blue people. Who are the blue people? It's also making me think of the bird people, the blue bird people, who are also said to be galactic beings who are quite intelligent and from the future. But when we say the future, it's interesting because we live in a place where we have various timelines, and in a way they're all fucking happening at the same time. Like, this is you, this, infinity, this, infinity, this, this in fucking infinity, right? And then upwards as well, whatever upwards mean, because what I'm getting is that these are also two sides. Imagine if there's a mirror here, one side and then the other side, but then also within both sides you have all of these possibilities of outcomes of who you could be, of what situations, possibilities, outcomes would come from everything. And then it's like, well, if this person is here and they awaken and they're like, oh my god, I can see all of these timelines somehow, I'm gonna just jump right here and interfere with something or like do something. And just by doing that, a butterfly effect will happen, and these will also decide to change. But then I'm gonna go back to this one. If this is the bird man, right? He's gonna go back here. He's gonna be like, I did my job. I sort of helped the guy sort of rearrange how he also saw all of this. And in doing so, this person also becomes enlightened with a knowledge that came from all the way here. We went through a whole thing right here, guys. And it's really interesting because all of it also started because of the pineal gland, right? Talking about that. And isn't it fucking interesting that I'm only realizing this now, but Punjabis, men also covering their heads and protecting their mental integrity. Because people's minds can also be affected. And when you block it in a way, you're also keeping what you have sacred, let's say, and put it like that, and protected. And not necessarily in the open, like properly open for fulfillment for how do you say? Oh, why can't I think of that word? Because interference. Because I was also about to say maybe it's not interference, but look at this man. What is that? That looked like a baby's head, but then it just became a troll or something, like the green, right? But he's got birds here. I'm still figuring out what happened, what things mean as well. But look at that. It's really interesting that the pineal gland here, and crown chakra colors, which is a thing that also goes through here. So what I'm getting is, right, like this is us also trying to understand my painting, like even me. we're doing a deep dive into what this painting means. And crown chakra colors. Third eye. She is holding on to this girl here. Don't they look similar? Don't they look like they could be sisters? Don't they look like they could be the same person? Because it is. This girl in the background as well is also interesting because I like to see that it almost feels like a shadow side. It almost feels like the other side, like what we were saying here with the different timelines. This is also an example. So this is so interesting what I'm getting, because look at the blue here. We were just talking about blue beings, and I know that this girl in the background here is purple. But there's something about being a timeline traveler, a timeline seer. A timeline seer is also like chess players. When people play chess, or when you watch the movie The Queen's Gambit, or another chess movie, or if you're just a professional chess person, or if you chess, I don't know, and you watch tournaments and such, I might be wrong, but I do know that people, they foresee steps, they foresee outcomes. right? And they plan accordingly. And they plan in a way with strategy that, yes, relies on their forward thinking, but also the forward thinking of the opponent. Now, if you're able to see different timelines, are you able to see the other person's timelines? It's also interesting because the table, it's also cut in half. What I'm also noticing is that it's not really fair. It's not fairly cut in half here. And that could be a detail that, could be minor but play a big role. It's also making me think of like, oh, the tables are turned. That saying, not saying that the tables are turned like, but maybe that could be significant. It's just what I was also getting is that because even though this side seems to be smaller, she seems to be reaching more, maybe, or I'm not sure, he seems to be reaching more here. And here seems like her hands are already close to the board here, the chess board, because initially this was also supposed to be a chess match. It was also something inspired by or reflective of a chess match that I had myself with a robot, I think, on my phone. And it was interesting because the match ended with 2 kings. No one could kill each other, so it was like a draw. Everyone's pawns, everyone's queens, everything dead, gone, apart from these 2. Now you see that there's a whole whirlwind sort of, going around here. It looks like a tornado. Because it seems to be that there's a lot of energy here. And likely a lot of energy that's influenced by this timeline seeing. Look at it. It just looks very... with these patterns, it looks very intentional. It looks very... as if really you're entering a different state. Like when you look at Jace in Arcane, and with the symbols and the stuff that he learned from the wizard there, it looks like that. Like there was something going on between these 2 people. I like that there's a man here and a woman here. So this might be a message significant to you about either your family member or someone that you actually know, that you're sort of feel like you're going through some type of battle about, and it's about your subconscious. It's about your mind. It's about who controls your mind, who controls your subconscious mind, who controls the outcomes of your own world. In a way, look at this TV here. I too am still trying to understand what these symbols mean. And maybe we can do that today as well. Sorry, my nose just all of a sudden got blocked for some reason. But the thing here is that it kind of feels like this girl knew. And some type and connections had to be planted. Seeds had to be planted in somebody else's reality for these things to be picked up, acknowledged, and realized for what they meant, why they were there. Pyramid. There's something about pyramid, pineal gland. Look. Yes, here they look like towers. Because in a way, these are also symbolic of these 2 people's towers. Look at the red tide here. The red, these lines here are also symbolic of, for example, these lines. The red lines that's attaching to what she's holding here, that thing, and to her and this other person. why is that significant? Because it's like the red string theory. What do we tie ourselves to? What has been tied to us ancestrally? What have we inherited? Who have we likely also subconsciously tied ourselves to? What situations have we subconsciously tied ourselves to? You see how red is here? Pink, red. It's like some type of energetic battle, war that also seems like needed to be resolved, needed to happen. Because also, if you inherited it, also because we were talking about karma earlier, it's exactly that. You know, we also tend to come into life with the string attached, like our mothers. Like when we're born, our umbilical cord is touched to our mother. Our mother is also a body that has experienced the earth, has experienced the traumas, the loveliness, the hurt, the joy, reflected upon so many different other people in this world with different subconscious minds, different ways to connect to everything, to the universe. Because our belly buttons, our solar plexus, our sacral chakras, the way that all aligns is like it contributes heavily to the way that we express in the world, how we see the world, how we see the world also affects, you know, and plays a part when it comes to how our third eye sees the world, and how our third eye, which is a reflection of our subconscious minds, and subconscious can also just be those spaces in your mind that you can access higher knowledge. Because what I'm getting is that if you're somebody who, if you're a reader, if you're in a spiritual journey, let's just say it like that, trying to identify yourself or trying to understand who you are, what your identity is, if spirituality is a part of you, you know, it's about exploration. And it might just not be spirituality for you, but you might even relate to all of these topics that I'm talking about right now, and it not having to do with spirituality at all. I think that is the beauty of all of this. Now I want to cry again. It is 36:39, and I swear it stayed on 36:39 for a little bit longer than it should have. Because sometimes spirituality, religion, you know, it's also about distinguishing a different people. It's about distinguishing a different belief system, which is cultivated within certain groups. And what that means is that a collective of people, of beings, who collectively see or, you know, experience an idea or have projections from their third eye, yeah, they're also feeding whatever is going on. It's like when you have a lot of people who are on the same page, they work like a unit. That's why people have armies, right? That's why people train all of these people to think the same, to do the same move, to da 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 da. This, right? Like trying to create a collective consciousness from individuals. And that collective consciousness becomes one consciousness. However, it can also be manipulated. It can also be directed. It can also be taken advantage of, used. It can also be something that you don't even see properly that's happening. Like brainwashing, but not brainwashing, but you see how this person is here, right? Also close to her sacral chakra, trying to reach for something. And her eyes are rolled back because she sees it. She knows. She has seen this moment. She knows the outcome. It's why she also hasn't finished the painting, I guess. um, because there's a pause. It's that pause of, ah, is where was I even gonna go with that? It's the pause of, ha, you actually thought, right? It's like those moments when you want to let an enemy or somebody think that they won, and then you pull that move and you're like, now we're standing side by side, bitch, and none of us are capable of beating each other. It's like both of us already know that the only way to even make this work is for us to be balanced and to choose balance. It's like the way that that looks, right? Like I would have loved if that was cutting through the X, as if to cut the cord, or as if to, but it's beautiful because it's also showing the connection between two towers, two people, two minds, two perspectives of the world. It's also making me think of divine counterparts for some reason. And for example, in your own world, when you come together with somebody, it's like this person might also think similar in a particular way, right? And you guys will be creating a world together. Why was my voice cracking there? It's like two people who have such strong minds that have been influencing the world in an energetic way that might not even be properly recognized by the world. Because it's all energy, because it's all being given in through love, through healing, through wanting the world to heal, through wanting the world to just be free and happy. So whoever projects this into the world and what they do with it, it's like these two people, they do the same thing and they come together, and it's like the whole world literally fucking changes. Like all of this, how big this mermaid is, what the fuck is going on there? Like it just seems so apocalyptic. It just seems so like we're on the brink of something. We're like in front of a portal and we're doing some type of chess match about some bullshit that was carried on and that lingers in the atmosphere. That's why it's red everywhere. Red attached to this red is because these things also linger in the air. Traumas, words, these things, I don't want to call it pollution, but things that also don't necessarily help, that don't necessarily benefit in a direct manner. What it does, it's like it benefits, but only after you learn, only if you choose to learn, only if you choose to heal, and if you actually heal. And that also happens in its own time. Your body may know when to cut a cord. Your mind may know, you might foresee that. But only until your body truly, or your soul really feels that, I don't know, they're ready to let go, that certain amount of time has passed, things have happened, perspectives have changed, your heart opened in a different way now, healed in a different way, and now, yeah. Now you just see things differently. This bike chain here. Interesting that I chose bike chain because a bike has two wheels. And when we look at the inventions of bicycles, they had so many shapes, so many different shapes, so many possibilities. And yet we stuck with one that was more practical, one that was more flexible when it came to certain things, environments, bodies, intentions. And chains, sometimes they go only front, and then like this you break. Some chains go all the way around. Doesn't matter where you're going, the pedals will still move, And if you go like this, you catch that thing, I don't know what it's called, that makes you be able to go. And like this, you don't go, but you're still moving the pedals. Now, there's something significant about that. And time. And it clocks. 11, 14, 13. This was 13, but then turned to 4, but then also looks like 5. Right? This bike chain was actually here to sort of symbolize a chain. Right? And it's interesting that we're talking about time, bicycles, how bicycles move forward. But if they try to pedal backwards, it doesn't work unless you change that setting. It's like, change that setting so that you can go back in time. Why did that just come out? And it's like a conscious decision. If you want to do it, you can leave your mind. Keep going like this, the way that it was invented, given to you, provided to you, or you can decide for yourself, you know what, I'm gonna try something different, I'm gonna change it, I'm gonna go that way. There's something about that idea, that freedom of mind, that realization that one has that freedom of mind, and it can look and come in any way possible. It doesn't have to be physically, changing time or going back in time. It's just the notion of, okay, yeah, facts. Like, if we think about it, certain things I can also do that with. It doesn't have to be time related. And if it is, that's amazing. And if you can time travel, that's amazing. And it's great that, isn't it cool that we're talking about this right now? The pyramids here is significant because look at how she holds it. Also in the form of a triangle. But look at how big she is. Look at the shine here, which is also coming from this. It's like, ooh, it made me think of something. It made me think of pharaohs and hearts and people. And pyramids have 4 sides. There's something about 4 digits, 4 sides, because the Pope that we were talking about, Sixtus V, he was born on the 21st of July, 1414. 1414 has 4 digits. There are also 2 4s in there. And 2 1s. Pyramids have a base of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they've got 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 around and 1 on the bottom. So 5. A foundation, a base. And there's something about how these also act as points where energy can be projected out of or beamed in, I believe. But there's something that has to happen in these chambers for energy or something to be pinpointed into a place. I believe also when they bury pharaohs, it's like also transporting these pharaohs back into the sky. Like there's some type of connection to sky and earth, even in their death, but intentionally. All these pictures, hieroglyphs, images within the pyramids, they're also reflecting intentions of likely who that person was, who the pharaoh was, yeah, but also what they want in the afterlife. What type of... It almost feels like a spell, like a ritual or something like that. Where you paint all of these things so that the person remembers, or the person, it's like when they die, they put in their energy, gets in there, charges the images, and it sort of moves around, or like, because it's like this, eventually when you get to the top, the squareness or the angularness changes. It becomes a circle at the point, and that energy gets distributed. There's something about circle, there's something about that. Like how that would be there. What, does that make sense? So okay, I also wanted to say in this painting, right, we also have that symbol here, because it's been a symbol that going since 2020 and I didn't understand why. Where did it come from? And then I showed somebody and it was like, oh, it's probably just a symbol. And they even called me stupid because I couldn't even draw it twice. You know, I drew it the other way around, like going backwards, or, you know, not being able to make one of the loops or something. And I looked at them and I was like, are you actually calling me stupid because of that? Because everything that we've also talked about today, if I drew it backwards, it's playing with the idea of time. This feels like a loop of time. This feels like the Big Bang. This feels like the Big Bang was the bullet. And it traveled and it traveled and it traveled and it traveled and it traveled. And it was like, somehow it was like, it's gonna destroy the thing that created me. Let me just and then I won't have to, you know, I'll still stay alive. I'll still be me. And the person that created me will still also be alive. In the center, like a sun. Like a planet. Because the planet also has a heartbeat. Because the planet is also releasing how much energy? In how many minuscule aspects concerning the size of this thing? Through us, through our little mouths talking me, 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 through the way ants move, all of the ants in the whole world. What I was saying just now about the pyramids. Okay, now let's look at this image. And I know that we're like going through my freaking homework that I was supposed to do ages ago. I haven't looked at it since. Wow. And this is about solar panel energy, circuits connecting to each other, and how much light can be caught up by a battery, stored in a battery, how much energy is produced. I'm sorry, this is really... Ooh, connecting the dots. What I wrote here during my lessons, of course, with this thing, I didn't write this today. I know it doesn't have a date on there and there's no way that you can believe me or me prove it to you, but you just gotta trust me, bro. MPP, the max power output, which happens at the top, which is normally displayed as being at the top, right? At the top of a mountain, at the tops of our heads. It's where the energy focuses and pinpoints and fucking shoots out if it needs to shoot out, right? Or you think that it goes exponentially, growth exponentially. Now when we look at a freaking pyramid, we'll get to domes because that's significant. Alright, I'm gonna draw it like this, okay? So, can you see that alright? Cool. So a pyramid. Right? And then on 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, a pyramid. So what we were saying, right? I'm just gonna draw the inside real quick. And maybe I can get a different color. Let's use pink. Imagine we started here and we're like walking around this pyramid. And we're going in circles. What does circles mean? It means you're going around the fuck English words explaining things. When you're walking around a perimeter of something. So walking around the inner perimeter of this pyramid, or right? So let's just say there was stairs or a staircase that making you go up. Every time you go up, the staircase will get shorter because as you go up, the distance, these distances, of course, vary. Look at how the bottom is longer than when you get to here, than when you get to here. What does that mean? It means that by the time you get to the freaking top, these lines that you were making, that were aligned with the straightness of the corners and the walls of the pyramid, and especially the base, that eventually gets to this pinnacle point up here. But because you reach the pinnacle point, because you reach if you see a cornetto, and I know that a cornetto has a circular base, right? And so it looks like a cone. And then the shape that it comes out as is obviously also going to be a circle. What's projected out, the light projected out. And in this case, I still think the light projected out is still going to be a circle, or in the shape of, or like be slightly shaped by the top of this pyramid. So instead of it looking like that, like a dot, like, and project itself like this, it might even look like, so that's 4, like a star, or like an X. Like, the fact that that's an X is like mind-boggling to me. We were looking at the cross, right? At the X between the two red lines, two strings. What did I say? It was gonna look like a star. I was gonna just say now, like, this kind of looks like a shooting star. Because something's coming through now, and it might not be relevant. When bodies, or the way that they've been shown to us, that when a body dies, their soul leaves their body. Now, when a pharaoh died, their soul could have left even before they entered the freaking tomb. But I guess that's also why they had pyramids built for pharaohs before they died, so that if they die, even unexpectedly, they can enter in there within a certain given amount of time after they've been mummified, because that also takes a certain amount of time, but it is a necessary process. It is a necessary ritual. Like this, all of it is a necessary ritual. I feel like there could have been specific steps that needed to be taken every time. I might be wrong, like this is just coming through. And that's why when certain pharaohs, when something happens to a brother or a sister and nobody knows what the fuck, happen to those siblings, sometimes other people take the other people's pyramids because they are put in a position, in a different position. And so they take that name, they take what that person was owed, a return. Why did that come through? A return to the stars, a return home, a return to the stars. Star Wars. What I don't understand is that when they say Star Wars, when they give us these movies, everyone loves them. Yeah, yeah. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. And then we have NASA, and then we have companies that are producing, spaceships, rockets. Yeah, if we can produce rockets, I'm pretty sure some people have decided to try and make UFOs. If some children, people can just make it through knowledge, through research, through their own, not have the equipment that NASA has, they or any other company, they can still produce something. And that to me just makes me think we're already more advanced than we thought, bruv. Like, what the fuck are these Star Wars on about? What the fuck are these, like, let's go and find another planet and conquer another planet? There have been Star Wars. Yeah. And what I'm getting is there have always been Star Wars, even with this planet. Valerian and 1,000 Planets, that movie. You know that one planet that feeds orbs into a system? They look like pearls. That's why I got pearls the other day. The pearls in that movie are used to feed a system that powers their whole world. And what they see, But it's funny because when those pearls stop coming, which are created by this really cute creature, this is their symbiotic relationship to these creatures. They feed them, they treat them nice, of course, because they provide them life. They provide them the world. And when they're gone, and when they can't produce these orbs anymore, their world cannot be charged or be given the power, energy, the knowledge to function. It's like a system not being given the information it needs to be able to project something. That's for some reason making me think of DVDs. DVDs. What? Why is that making me think? And I don't know why I'm laughing, because it might be just facts. It might just be facts, bro. But like those people who would wear DVDs on their forehead, like that, right? Like this is their hair, and they wore DVDs on their forehead because DVDs, I also got this, they're made of terbium, a mineral or a metal or a compound, terbium. And terbium is also making me think of green. So why? Electromagnetic waves, electric energy. The fact that we also drew this in green. This is really significant because this, doesn't it also remind you of the different infinities or infinity? And the fact that I said different infinities. Like it would be like this, one infinity. Like this, one infinity. Like this, one infinity. like this, one infinity. And then you got whatever this is going on there, which is created by all of these, like four infinities coming together and having one of their ends overlap with one another. You know, that's really interesting. Because when we think about 3D, when we think about this physical world and certain things in 4D, four dimensions, four dimensions. Yeah, because in 4D movies, right, for example, when we sit in the cinema, it's like, oh, it's gonna be 4D. So not only are we gonna see a 2D image become a 3D image, become um what was I gonna say? Become something that's alive, like something that can actually spray on your face and interact with your physical body and your energetic body in a way. And what I'm getting is that people might think that, like, yeah, obviously, Andy, like, all of this knowledge is and has been here for ages. And it's like, girl, I've been living under a rock, mate. This is me trying to understand the freaking world that I live in after not even being aware of any of this. Darling. And I might not be the only one. So this is for the people who also are like, yeah, me too. I'm on the same journey. Like, I'm finding out things about our world that are like, what? I didn't even know that, you know? Or like, I'm thinking about the world in a different way than I have then, or da da da. But yeah, there's some type of projecting an image. Terbium can do that. Please look up terbium. Because also this reading is getting long. And I didn't even intend it to be like a reading channel message thing. But yes, shall we get some cards? Blue Angel Oracle cards. Just to close out the reading. Hello, dear deck. Is there anything you would like to add or confirm about what we have already said? Yes. And 8 and 9, and it's 1 hour and 8 minutes, 58 minutes, a seconds. 8 and 9 on Earth. You see what is up here? You see this projection? That is really interesting. Intentions. When we're talking about the pyramids, the intentions, the energy. So, what is being projected up could be somebody's dream of, okay, of their ideology still being alive in this world. There's that, and hence there's a night on Earth, because there's something looming in the sky, or projected in the sky, or projected in our world, that is causing a night on Earth. And why a night? Why is it considered bad? It's not necessarily considered bad, but a night on Earth, shouldn't there also be day? As we've seen, you know, duality. But is that also because we created it that way? Or is the day and night artificial? Like, I don't know. Or is just having day what is artificial? Or is that what truly is meant? I don't know where I'm going with that. Or this projection here could be, you know, the idea of this thing being the new Earth, or an example of the new Earth. We can also look at it like that. Something that's about to burst and release everything out into the whole world, and then it also changes things. I'm getting that. Like, look at the colors within the atmosphere and around here, the light here. How there are so many swirlies here. So, like, it's making me think of busyness. And cloudedness. Which is so interesting because of my own paintings. And there's also quite a lot of busyness, right? Like busyness in this, and then just so much going on. So much goes on energetically in the background. We also got Pendragon sword, which is 41. Wow. Yeah, man. Look at that. Isn't that like funny how also swords represent mental energy? And what we were talking about, like, imagine if this is a person. The pharaoh's bodies, for example. That energy also compressed in a space that builds and builds and builds. It's like what people say about putting an apple in a box and leaving it there, and that theory that if you leave it there for infinity, it's going to degrade, turn into nothing, an air, and then come back again. There's something about that. And this is just making me think of what we were talking about, that the way the energy flows upwards towards the sky. It's like somebody's mind wants to be projected into the sky, or they themselves to be projected into the sky. Then we have 10, blue earth angel. And then we have sadness. What? Like, why? It's like I'm making the connection between blue and the blue earth angel. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense because there's some type of sadness. There's some type of missing. There's some type of... like, this isn't the way that it is. Like, I miss, like, what that thing that we're talking about. I think we mentioned it at first, like, missing a home. I talked about it yesterday in a different reading. Missing home, looking at the stars and missing home and feeling like that's where you deserve to be. And that was unjustly taken from you. This is getting into something else, and like I want to cry because I'm also getting an inner rage. It's like somebody denied somebody's inheritance, or like, something that they deserve, that was always made for them. I'm looking at all of these eyes here around this mask. It's like somebody's last incarnation on this planet is to fucking return and take back what is theirs. Because they remember, you remember. There's a sadness there. A longing, a yearning. To just blossom and be, I was gonna say, both sides of the moon that you've always been. Why does that make me think of Pandora? Why does that make me think of moons and there being a creation of a new moon? Will there be a creation of a new moon? You know? The wind came through, and why does that make me think yes? It's interesting because what's here in the middle looks like a package, like a present that you get to before you get to that. You came here, from here, now you're going there, and then from here you go there. And then from here, you enter space that, yeah, is surrounded by a whole bunch of clouds, but you can then go into this beautiful blue space, like ascending. That could be what happens spiritually or in a metaphysical way, or what is intended by pyramids. Some sort of spiritual inheritance, some sort of inheritance. This package. Okay, last one, I promise. Well, what is this package? Forever in my light, baby. Forever in my light, baby. To be fully yourself and all of yourself. Your blue and your yellow. It's funny that blue and yellow is coming through. I'm wearing blue jeans. and yeah. I also look down at this, and this is also blue, and this is making me think of creativity. Creation. Deeper layers of one's mind. We have multi-dimensional healing right now. And it's interesting that there are 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like how many sides of a pyramid? The base, the other side, the other side, the other side. Right? Am I reading that wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the base, one side, the other side, the other side, and then the other side, where everything gets connected and aligns. That's the package. Because what I was also getting is that forever in my light also means like your foreverness is in a package, and that when you are ascending, or when you get a chance to come across this package of you, or come across this package that includes your foreverness, everything, all of your knowledge that you've accumulated from your past lives, this life, the other lives, multidimensional lives. And this last stop here feels very celebratory to me. Yeah, like I even just wanted to cry right now. And when I say I even just wanted to cry right now, and I know that it might not look like it, it's a feeling. It's that, like, initial prickly of like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. But you can also sometimes control that. Do I want to keep using this? Because I did feel called, yeah, to clarify with this. But look, grace and gratitude at the bottom of the deck. Number 20. forever in my light. Blue Earth Angel. Where a time of sadness, grace and gratitude has really helped people, your soul, be able to go through these stages and learn and pick up moments of where you can pick up yourself, basically pick up these things that you've always known, that the world has known, and that is gifting you with. The present moment is a gift. It's a present. Yeah. Look at the colors. And it's like, yeah, obviously the colors might look the same because they're part of the same deck, so they follow the same themes and the same color palettes. I know, but there's a significance as to why these color palettes were chosen, as to why these colors were chosen, right? And I know I said last one, but babe, okay? Because I also said that I wanted to take from the other deck. What is going on here? What is going on here? Why does it look like that? Ah, because the freaking cards were, obviously. Alright. Yeah. Golden light. You are golden, baby. What I'm getting also is that it reminds me a lot of a dream I had. There was, long story short, there was this stardusty sand person that was sad. That was sad. No, now it makes me sad. Because I never realized. It's remember how I was saying that this is like you, but all of you, forever you? That's you too. That it almost feels like your higher self, or just something along those lines, because in the dream, a being like this was following me everywhere and just being really silent, and like it would sit in a hammock, and I'd know it was sitting in a hammock, because even though sometimes it would turn invisible, you would know, because the freaking hammock, pressed down, you could tell that something was in there. And then it reappear and teleport to another part of your room, and sit there with their arms crossed and sad, and just a deep sadness and not understanding why. And then you feeling a bit angry, or like you also not feeling too in touch with the people, like the actual physical people in your dream, like your friends, like you guys hang out, but there's always that lingering feeling of that being, because they were also around, not saying much. And then one day you sort of come up to it and you're like, hey, like, who are you, what are you doing here? But there's like a type of annoyance to your voice, because you're confused, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what it is, you might be scared, you're like, why do I have this thing here? But then, my dream ended in a way that I didn't like, because we ended up having bad blood in a way, bad energy, like misunderstanding, because one, just misunderstanding. And then I woke up and I was like, no, no, no. There was just something in me that was just like, that is not right. Because you know how fleeting dreams are? And it's like how fleeting such an impactful dream like that can be. Like the strongest message that someone was able to produce. Something like, I don't know why I'm getting like their last message before leaving, before letting go. This is making me think of 13. Forever in my light. 13. The age 13. I'm sorry, guys. 13 might be a significant age for you. Super, super significant, that you've been trying to understand why. It's because of that. You might have been someone who had a feeling. You somehow knew that a part of you is gonna get lost somewhere. You sought help in your own silent ways. And after so long of not understanding, because 13 also means death, right? But then I also got lucky 13 just now. Something happened, and when in that dream, when I came back, I changed my attitude, I changed my perspective, and I wanted to act towards this person, this being, the way that I would have liked somebody to act towards me if I felt like that. Imagine seeing someone sad every day and like not being like, for some reason there's this barrier in your mind that you're like, why is this here, instead of being able to help the thing. Like instead you just feel like, talking about it and being like, why is it always here, or why is it always like that, or instead of stopping and trying to understand. And then I finally did, and it was like we were besties. Wow, guys. So, and I feel like in that moment when I hugged this being, because yeah, I did, I hugged him and I was like, I love you. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't get out of myself enough to sit there with you in that hammock, to be patient with you, to stop in my tracks of whatever the fuck I was doing, because it also didn't seem like it was that important. Not important enough, not more important than me being able to be a good person, a good citizen, a good soul. And I hugged them, and it was like, yeah, we're one, we're the same. We're like, you're probably just me in a different form. And the moment that happened, it was like their whole world lit up. Like they didn't have a face, but it was like I could see it. Like you could just see, as if the muscles underneath their face were moving. They were happy. It was like someone was reborn. Wow. Oh, there's like so much mourning. You know what you thought you were mourning, what you were mourning something, and you didn't even know what you were mourning for so many years. Oh, what the fuck. And then we have dragon magic. That reminds me of the Sicilian. Fuck, we literally talked about it all day. The pine cone, the piña, the Sicilian piña. The eye of awakening. Doesn't this look like a disc? Doesn't this look like the disc that we were just talking about, mate? Huh? The disc. And like the representations here. The third eye. And then back to back from that, we got the Luna 22 and 34 pathways of light. Right off the bat, I'm getting that these are different doors. And it became like, different doors with different like, how we were just mentioning timelines. These are all the doors, and how your multidimensionalness has the ability to see and open these doors. Something about you also being the key. The key to what you see, what you want to experience. Yeah. Luna. Wow. Remember when I was saying that there's gonna be a new formation of a moon? A new moon? Luna, moon. So a different way of the world working. Fuck. Because of its energetic contribution, because its gravitational contribution. The way that it influences water in our systems, in our bodies, but everywhere. And because of that, it plays a role. There's some type of, I was gonna say, magic that goes on. Imagine if we got a new moon. And I'm looking at the waters here, they're stable. It's peaceful. All of these flowers here. Yeah, it almost looks like it's underwater in a way. It's like this whole peaceful world is underwater. And there's a bubble a reflection of what was and what can be. A redistribution of what shouldn't be into what it should. Guys, it's 1 hour 36 minutes. I'm gonna go now. You have seen a lot. I have seen a lot. We have talked about a lot. But I wanted to say thank you so much for being here. And if you relate to any of this, if you see the patterns as well, if you see more patterns than even what I was able to come up with right now and come to a conclusion with right now, let me know. Let's talk about it. All right, like, also, I was gonna say entertainment purposes. Like, you can take this as entertainment purposes or not. If you love digging deep, if you love puzzles, if you love putting things together, connecting the dots with, also considering your metaphysical connection to the world, this is the place for you. I keep looking at my Moonology deck. Remember when I said, okay, last deck, last card, I promise, last card, I promise, because why am I looking at the Moonology deck? Something about the mood. Can we get a last minute message if that's what you wanted to do? Oh. Okay, so what we were just talking about, balance and spirituality and practicality. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. This is what I guess we're trying to do, or I'm trying to do. It's time to take action. So if you're anybody who relates to thinking like this, doing things like this, having these types of thoughts, trying to balance your practical world and your spiritual world. If you're somebody who also is a reader, somebody who also feels like they want to talk about these things or have been doing this on their own time, not really, feeling like they can share this with the world, this is your time to take action. Because you don't know who you're going to be helping. You don't know what it will ever lead to. But the fact that you have this knowledge, these nudges, this intuition, this knowledge, share it. Because it might help other people also build upon, it gives food for thought. And food for thought helps people also come to conclusions. It's interesting here that luck is on my side, but in reverse. Luck is on your side, but in reverse. Yeah. What I'm getting is that also because, sorry again for my nose, but did I get a snotty nose because I knew I was gonna cry? Like, there's something about your body also knowing what's gonna happen before it happens. This is also making me think of the movie Tenet. Fuck! And there's a huge fucking X in the clouds. Look. The thing about the bike chain going forward and backwards in time, the different groups in Tenet, the package, fuck, there's something. It just reminded me of airplane. I saw an airplane yesterday when I was praying, and the airplane came as an answer in the sky. And I was like, oh, like, like, could people be traveling somewhere, or am I going somewhere, or like, But then it reminds me of that part in the movie where they, yeah, use the plane as a setup, of course, to get into a place that normally wouldn't be able to get into, but also have that as an exit so that, you know, they can also carry out what they needed to do and exit without without it being obvious. So there's like a distraction, like a really big thing to cover up what was really going on underneath. And what, you know, luck is on your side is like, let's clarify, because in my mind I was saying like, well, I was hearing that because it's in reverse, it's that you have to work for it. Take time to breathe out, yeah, like in reverse, and with time to take action. A time for healing and communication is key. There you go. So yeah, maybe you're somebody who is like also waiting for the right time, also waiting for luck to catch up with you in a particular way, area of your life maybe. But healing right now is important. Sorry for my fucking snotty nose. But healing this balance is important for you right now. And it's time to take action when it comes to communication, because communication is key. So there you go. Don't be afraid to share your voice. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Okay, but I'm gonna go now. For real this time. Thank you so much again, and lots of love.